Hey guys,
Hello.
welcome to our podcast. I'm Danny.
I'm Dylan.
We decided we were going to do a podcast and YouTube channel.
Yep.
All around ghosts, paranormal, demons, cryptids,
Extraterrestrial.
yeah, aliens, basically anything unexplained.
Spirits.
Yeah, we'll cover it.
Entities.
We'll
Yep.
cover it. So yeah, we've been friends for
Coming up to 4 years.
4 years. I put up with him for about 4 years.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We used to work together, doing kitchen design, and then I
Became a tattoo artist.
now I became a tattoo artist.
Yep.
And now I do your tattoos
Many
and
a tattoo.
doodle on you.
Yeah, you did do doodle bob on
You
me.
did do doodle.
You did do doodle bob on me. This is true.
Doodle Bob, yeah, it's wonderful.
Yes.
We've also played noughts and crosses on your arm with a tattoo machine, I think.
Yes.
Who won?
You ruined it because I said we would play one game of noughts and crosses, and whatever the outcome is, we drew it on me.
Oh, no one
And
won.
then, yeah, because you was like, I'm going first. And then you went first and went straight in the middle. And I was like, well, you fucked it now. It's going to be a draw.
And then that's on your arm.
Inevitably, it was a draw. And I was like, well, that's it. And then you were like, oh, should we just replay? Like, well, no, because I said we'll play one game.
One game, and it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Sorry.
Yeah,
That's what you get for having me as a tattoo artist.
there you go.
So yeah, come to me for all your tattoos. I
But,
won't play noughts and crosses on your arms.
Yes.
But yeah, so basically, yeah, we decided after that we were going to do a podcast and YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we just thought we would basically tell you like a little bit about how it's gonna, like what our plans are.
Plans and expectations.
Yeah, like as much as we'll go with the flow of like what you guys find entertaining, what you guys like more of. We've also got like plans to do different subject every week.
Yep.
So we'll cover like we'll pick a subject, let's say for example cursed things. We'll cover it, we'll talk about it, we'll debate it. Then we might do some listener stories at the end, like listener encounters.
Yeah.
We've got some specials in the pipeline.
So we're going to do like a Friday the 13th special,
Yeah.
Halloween special,
Yeah.
seasonal specials.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're basically just going to do a different sort of topic every week.
Yeah.
We'll get onto listener stories in a minute, because that's
Yeah.
going to be an important part, because we want to try and do at least sort of one listener story at the end of every episode.
Yeah. If we
Right.
get loads, then we might do like a whole
Couple.
episode on them.
Maybe.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a special in the pipeline.
Oh yeah, we might be going some places.
Yeah, we're gonna do. So we're gonna try and keep it local. Like we'd like to do things around the local area. Obviously, that's not to say that we won't look at things outside of the UK as well. But just to start with, we're going to keep it local.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go to Epping Forest.
Yep, you've got a story in Epping Forest. soon
Yeah.
as well.
But we're actually going to do a whole episode on Epping Forest, and we're
Mhm.
going to record it in the car in the forest in the middle of nowhere, so that we scare the shit out of ourselves, which you're so happy about.
Mhm. Can't wait.
But if the car's locked, nothing can get in. We're fine.
Yeah, but I don't think that's how it works with ghosts
No,
or demons.
we'll be fine.
Okay.
But it'll be creepy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's good. A good place to start, I guess, is our beliefs.
Yeah. So I am very much I'm a believer. I've had experiences, whereas you're not the opposite end of the scale, but more on the scale.
I'm
of,
definitely a believer. I'm
Yeah.
a believer, but I'm still skeptical on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So I feel like you're a believer without experiences, essentially.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think it's quite nice that we've got those two different like viewpoints, because obviously we can then like try and rationalise certain things, or if there's no rational explanation, then obviously that's what we want, because
Yeah, I think a good
I
way
like
of
ghosts.
summing it up is obviously people ask people all the time, "Oh, do you believe in ghosts?" And normally it's a yes or a no answer. And I think a good follow-up question to that is, if I was to say to Danielle, "Do you believe in ghosts?" she would say yes. And then you can ask, "Well, how sure are you
yeah.
that ghosts, spirits, demons are real?"
So if we're talking on a percentage level, I would say like 90-95%.
And I would say probably maybe like 60-65. So I'm definitely on the side of I believe,
Yeah.
because I think there's just too much out there, like
Yeah.
story-wise and like documentation-wise. But at the same time, there's still always that part.
There's some things that can be rationally explained, but I think there's a lot that can't.
Yeah.
And that's basically what we're gonna explore. But yeah, so I would say, like, just as an example, I'll give you a couple of my like experiences. So I would say one of the more recent ones was I was staying in a hotel with a friend, and it was, I think I was like 2-3 in the morning. I've woke up to the light go on in the ensuite bathroom, and I can hear like the tap blasting. Tap goes off, tap goes on again, tap goes off. There's like a noise, and I was like, oh, like they've gone to the bathroom. But then I've rolled over and they're in the other bed, and I'm like, oh, who was in the bathroom then? Because that's something I definitely don't have like a rational explanation for. I could understand like maybe the light was left on or something, but to hear like the tap and stuff, that really creeps me out. But again, not in a there's a demon in my room. It just felt like there was a spirit there. There was something there, but I didn't feel like scared. So I'm of the belief of, if something happens and you feel absolutely terrified, I think that's like a dark entity. Whereas if something happens and you're like, ooh, that was weird, that was creepy, but you don't feel that dread, I think it's just a spirit. But yeah, that's one of my like short stories. And then I think pinning back to the Epping Forest thing, I also had another experience quite a while ago, because how old am I? I'm 31. I forgot how old I was.
Yeah.
When you get to the age where you forget how old you are. So I'm 31, so the other experience happened when I was, I'd say 16, 17, probably 17, out with...
Before iPhones. Was that before iPhones?
I think I had a smartphone. I think it was like a flip. I don't know. It was TomTom sat navs.
TomTom days.
So, yeah, I was out with friends, driving around in the car like you do when you think you're cool. And we wanted to go try and find Hangman's Hill. So I think one of our other friends had told us about it. It's in Epping. I'm sure if you're from that area, you know about it. But for anyone that doesn't, Hangman's Hill is basically it's a hill in the middle of the forest. You're meant to like drive there, park your car on the hill, handbrake on, turn the car off, and then your car like rolls up the hill. The controversy around it is that it's like an optical illusion, which I don't understand how can happen with your handbrake on, but whatever. And then the spooky story around it is that the Hangman's Hill is where lots of people got hung back, I think, in the 1800s. And it's meant to be the spirits like pushing your car up the hill. So that was our goal. We were going to find Hangman's Hill in Epping Forest in the dark. I think it must have been like 10, 11 o'clock. So we're driving around for ages, can't find it anywhere because, again, no sat navs on your phone. So we got a bit fed up. We was like, right, I'm kind of over it. Let's just go home. Trying to find our way out of Epping Forest again was a bit of a nightmare. But we're driving around, can't see anything. There's no houses, just trees everywhere. And then we're driving along, and towards us comes like a figure. And the only way I can describe it is this. It was like, I couldn't even see what clothes it was wearing. It was just dark, like almost like a cloak. But the person's face had no face. It was like a bald head, but it just went all the way around, like no face, no face, no mouth, no features, no nose, no eyes.
Did anyone else see it?
I think two other people in the car saw it, and one other didn't.
And they saw the same as you?
What was that? And they were like, I don't know, but he looked creepy. And again, I was 17, I can't remember. I can't remember who I was with, but I remember we were so freaked out, like we sped out of the forest, like we just tried to get out as quick as we could. And then the next day we were talking to the person that told us about it, and telling them like, what we couldn't find it, but we saw this, and they were like, yeah, that's the Hangman. And I was like, oh my god. 16-year-old me or 17-year-old me was like, oh, we've seen the Hangman, he's going to come and get us in our sleep. So he's going to hang us.
Do you think, like, when you're in a creepy setting or environment, you know, like, you've gone obviously out there to, I guess, see something, find something,
yeah,
put yourself in a creepy situation, basically.
Yeah, like,
do you think you're more susceptible to seeing things? Like, do you think, you know, like, not your mind can play tricks on you, but again, you're creeped out, you think you see things when actually you don't.
You're creeping yourself out anyway. Like, yeah, two-part answer I'd say is like, yeah, I think when you're trying to creep yourself out, like, it's almost like everyone's energy is egging each other's energies on. Like, yeah, I definitely think that's an important part, and it's interesting to cover because I think you do scare yourself. But again, another one of my beliefs on the second part of that question is, I think that people generally, all the reports of like paranormal activity and ghost experiences and stuff, it tends to happen when you're at like a low point in your life, when you're at like your most vulnerable. So I also think that if you're scared, I think your energy then allows spirit or whatever it might be to like get in easier or like manipulate or come through more. So I think that's also like an interesting point to cover, and we should definitely discuss that in the future. Maybe we'll do an episode on that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, those are just a couple of my experiences. You obviously, as we said, are a believer, haven't had any experiences.
No, like nothing conclusive anyway. But
yeah,
there is. So again, I don't have any experiences, but there was one small experience that we'll talk about. So when we were setting up this room, doing all the soundproofing, getting everything ready, Danielle said, should we put something called Ghost Tube on? Now, Ghost Tube is essentially this app, which is a 3-in-1 app it's like a ghost hunting app, I guess you would say. So it's an EMF, which is picks up electrical waves, allows ghost spirits and stuff to communicate through those waves. And then it's 2 other things as well. You know a bit more about it than I do.
Yeah, basically like picks up the radio waves like a radio would. It scans really quickly for like electric waves or whatever.
So we're both pretty, I mean, I'm really sceptical on this app. Danielle's also quite sceptical on it.
Yeah, just being in a phone.
Yeah, it's like how does your phone find ghosts? But anyway, she was like, should we put it on? So she puts it on, and essentially you can have the camera on as well in case it picks up anything. So have the phone on the bed like that with the camera facing up, and then essentially again it translates the spirit's communication into words, so you see words on the screen.
Yeah, like they can manipulate the radio signals to create words and push them through to the app.
Yeah. So at first, the sort of words that you would expect come up like hello, help, is anyone there?
Yeah.
Like pretty generic stuff like that. So anyway, I'm stood here facing this way, doing my thing, and then door behind us is open. You've got Danielle's corridor where you've got a room directly opposite, and that room's door is shut. You've got the room to the left, door was open, but you can't see that room from here.
No, from here you can see into a spare room that is dark,
diagonal across, doors open and lights are off. So again, I wouldn't say I'm creeped out, but I'm
staring into
seeing
the dark
if there's
room.
a little something I can see. So I'm sort of I stare behind me for about 5 or 6 seconds to stare into this room. And again, this room is pitch black, and I'm just wondering, is something going to move? Is something going to happen?
Am I going to see anything?
Am I going to see anything? Because then, great. And then that's podcast done. We found a ghost. But I stare into this room for like a solid 5 or 6 seconds. And then, as if it was perfect timing, as I sort of bring my head back to sort of continue what I'm doing, on the app, it says, "Can you see me?" with perfect timing. And then Danielle, I mean, I didn't see this part, I didn't experience this part, but then Danielle,
like simultaneously as Dylan, I didn't know he was staring into the room, all I heard was "Can you see me?" and simultaneously, like as I've turned my head to look at Dylan, like to look at the phone and be like, "Ooh," I've like seen not like a full apparition or anything, but I've just seen like a white smudge go past in that room out the corner of my eye. And yeah, like
I didn't see that part.
Admittedly, it creeped us out.
Yeah, but admittedly, I was like, right,
That's
just
weird.
rationale. The rational explanation is, okay, it was a word that popped up at the same time that I looked, and it's just a coincidence.
I don't believe in
right?
coincidences.
But
it was a ghost.
Admittedly, it was creepy.
Yeah, perfect timing.
And, perfect timing.
There's no lights out there that like or on in the room, so it's not like I could have seen like a light smudge or anything. It was just weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like something small. I mean, we've had a few other little things that happen.
Said bird, and then
yeah, like the machine picked up the word bird, and obviously up here, I don't know if you can see, we've got a taxidermy. It's either a crow or a raven.
Yeah.
I actually had a vet in today whose partner deals with birds. Oh, that was weird.
No, it's just a piece of soundproofing. It's not a ghost.
No, it's fine. But yeah, I should have asked them what this was, but regardless.
It's a bird.
It's a bird. It's either a crow or a raven. And obviously it said bird, and we were like, that's weird. Obviously that's not that weird. But I remember when we were setting up the room, I was being really like pernickety about how everything was laid out on the shelf.
No, but wait, you missed a part there because it said bird, and then 2 seconds later it said...
Oh, it said Janet.
Janet. Like, almost like... Well, like you said, is Janet attached to the bird?
I was like, yeah, could there be a spirit attached to it?
Been about, right? Like,
yeah, that bird's been about. It used to... So, I used to work at a tattoo studio in Chelmsford called Immortal Ink, and they... it was gifted to them, and it was in the studio for ages. And then when they relocated, it was then gifted to me. So, yeah, it's been about. It could have a spirit attached to it. Hey Janet, maybe that can be our...
Maybe that was just maybe that was just the bird's name.
Or maybe that was the bird's name.
Maybe it's just Janet
or maybe
the bird.
it's a spirit attached to it, and it's going to be our resident ghost that can sit here.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I remember when we set up the shelf being pernickety about where everything sat on the shelf, because the wing of the bird has got like a swoop. So I was like, it needs to swoop into the room. So I know where I placed the bird. Because I placed it with the swoop of the wing, and then come back here, and the bird is flipped, like rotated. So,
but again, rational side of things. Danielle also lost a vape in here that she can't find, so she's not the best at placing things.
I don't lose stuff, but I know I placed that bird where I placed it. I know I did, and it was different, and it creeped me out. Because George isn't going to come in here and start moving my birds around.
Well, yeah, sure. Sure.
And obviously, again, the jewellery thing as well. Like, when we first decided to do this podcast, we had a meeting. And I had, like, a brand new necklace on. And we'd gone to the meeting. We were chatting about how we were going to do it all. And come out, and I've gone, oh, where's my necklace? Like, it's gone. Again, fine. Like, could have snapped off, could have caught it, could have pulled it, whatever. Didn't think too much of it. Got back home, and I'm sure my partner Alex, I'm sure he won't mind me sharing this, but he, I came in and was like, oh, like, lost my necklace whilst I was out, and he was like, oh, my bracelet's gone, and he had like a leather, almost like plaited, I think, bracelet, so it's not like it can just break. It was quite a strong bracelet, and he said he'd found it on the floor and it like had ripped. So I felt like that was weird. I think there's ghosts that don't want us
Must
to
be a ghost.
I think there's ghosts that don't want us to do this podcast, and I kind of hope we get haunted, but I don't want to get haunted. Yeah. I want to get haunted by a good spirit and a good ghost. Janet can haunt us, but nothing scary, please.
If Janet's friendly.
If Janet's friendly.
Yeah. So, yeah. So what we're going to do now is essentially, this is towards the end of the podcast where we would normally, once we get your stories, tell your stories.
Yeah, read them out, chat about them, discuss them. Yeah,
but Danielle had the good idea of what we'll do for this episode is we'll tell some stories that we found online.
Yeah, like I went on Reddit, BuzzFeed, Quora, and just found a few like stories on there. So I thought we'll read them out. Dylan's gonna read like a short story about an actual place so that you get an idea of how the different subjects each week will be set up. Just to give you an example. But we want your stories, basically. Email us your stories. Yeah. Tell all your friends and family. Yeah. They don't have to be like massively creepy. Obviously, the creepier the better.
Just any story that you have. You know, it hasn't got to be scary. It hasn't got to be creepy.
I mean, if they are, great.
Yeah, of course.
The creepier
but at the same time, if they're not, we just want your stories about your
experiences.
Anything you can't explain.
I've had a few people ask, like, do you want my story? And I'm like don't even ask that question yet. Yeah, we want your story. Send it in. Send everything in.
Yeah.
Nothing too creepy.
No, don't make it weird.
But yeah, we'll go. We'll link everything below and how to send them. But we'll go into the first story that I found online. So I chose a couple of shorter ones.
You
About
really struggled to open that iPad.
Yeah, I know. I got a new case and I was like, which way does it open? But yeah, I chose a couple on Ouija boards because that is my limit. Like
Yeah, that's both our limits. We
Yeah,
won't.
I'm not doing
I
it.
would never.
It's stupid.
It is terrible.
And it scares me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I chose a couple about that. So my first one, now she has put her name on here, so I'm going to name her. But that's another thing. If you send us your stories and you want to be anonymous, totally cool. Just let us know at the beginning if we can share your name, what we can and can't share. If there's photos, can we share it? Can we not share it? But I'm going to name her because she put her name online. So this is from user Anne Monk, and it interested me because she was a former science teacher. So usually, if you're on of the science nature, like you don't really believe as much in the ghosts. So.
You like to think that they're
Yeah.
more like
Fact.
yeah, fact thinking.
So it was interesting, but basically this is her story. So when I was a young teen, my best friend and I spent a summer surfing the Ouija board. Mostly we just asked silly mundane questions, and mostly we got answers that seemed to fit. There was never a specific spirit or entity associated with our Ouija board, and we never felt threatened in any way. Until the day that all changed. Dun, dun, dun. One day, a specific personality started to communicate with us. He was male and forceful. He would tell us to do things, harmless things like taking a poster off a wall or something silly like that, but it was weird. I asked him his name, which he provided. I don't remember it anymore, so I'll just call him Gordon. I asked him where he'd lived before he became spirit, and he gave me an address. It was in a nearby small town. I never went to this town, so I had no idea if it was real or not, but I did have a map so I could look it up. It was real. I asked my sister to drive me there. I was still too young to drive, so I just wanted to check it out. My friend was spooked and didn't want to go, so my sister and I go to the address, an ordinary looking house in a wooded cul-de-sac. Nobody was around, so I knocked on the door. No answer, but I was not willing to give up. So I knocked on the next door neighbour's door, and a guy answers. He looked like he was in his 50s or 60s, too young to be old in my eyes, but older than my parents or the parents of my school friends. I asked him if he knows of a Gordon and if he ever knew if he lived next door. He thinks for a minute, and then he gets a little faraway look in his eye, and then he says yes, someone named Gordon did used to live there, but he disappeared about 15 years ago, and nobody knew why or what had become of him. He couldn't tell me anything more, just that he didn't remember anything about Gordon other than he lived there and then he didn't. I couldn't wait to get home and tell my best friend. I couldn't wait to pull out the Ouija board and find out more. When we did, Gordon came through right away. He was more aggressive than ever, insisting that we did this, did that, draw this, gather that. It felt creepy, and even though none of it was hurtful or inappropriate, it just felt wrong. I asked why he wanted us to do these things, and he only grew more insistent, more edgy, and more dangerous feeling. So I set a boundary. I said, no, we're not going to do it. Why do you want us to do it so badly? He understood at that point that I had drawn a line that I would not cross. So he told us that if we'd done what he'd asked us, then he could trade places with us. We could basically become him, whatever the fuck that meant. And then there was a demonic laugh spelled out over and over and over again on the board.
How do you do a demonic laugh on a board?
I'm assuming like H-A-H-A-H-A. That
It
sounds like Siri.
It could be a fun laugh. Ha ha ha.
Like the Voldemort laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah, well that. I don't know. But damn, poke my eyes out with a stick so I never have to see that again. It freaked us both out, and that was the last time that we ever did a Ouija board. I don't like it.
She could have chosen a better name than Gordon.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I don't like it though, because I feel like how can you get an address through a Ouija board? Like, how does that accidentally happen? Even if you and your friend are like messing around with a planchette and trying to make it, like you're not gonna get a random address out when you're too young to drive and then it actually be something real. That's creepy. It's creepy. And also like soundproofing's falling off the walls. It's creeping us out. But yeah, also like he must have been dead for him to be able to trade places with them, but like what was going to happen? Were they going to die, or was he going to become the form of a 13-year-old child? Like, it's so creepy.
Yeah, but like a 13-year-old girl as well, like that's a bit like...
It reminds me of that film Orphan. Have you seen it?
Does it?
Have you seen it?
Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with like taking bodies.
But it's so creepy. Like,
a woman pretends to be a girl.
Yeah, like she's a girl form, and then you tell her she's like 40. 40-year-old man called Gordon.
No,
that's your daughter.
She's just an older woman pretending. But yeah, but no, it is obviously not normal.
No, weird. No. So that was my first story. Thanks, Anne.
So again, like Danielle, I went online, looked at different stories, read over quite a few, but in the end went to ChatGPT, which we will be using a lot in the podcast.
Yeah. If you ever hear us refer to Eric or Charlie, Eric.
I call mine Eric.
Mine is Charlie. So we are Danny, Dills, Eric, Charlie.
Yes. Admittedly, it is just a great tool to get information quick, reasonably reliable information, although, again, we will always sort of fact check stuff.
Yeah, we'll fact check everything.
Yeah, I thought it was a good way of using ChatGPT. So I simply asked scariest paranormal place in the UK, and surprisingly what came up was the Borley Rectory haunting, which is in Essex, which is where we are.
Ooh, nice and local.
That is the most haunted place in the UK, apparently.
Nice.
So again, for those that don't know, because we didn't, a rectory is a accommodation, I guess, on church grounds.
Yeah, a house built on the church grounds. I'm assuming
like
for
the nuns, potentially the priests, any religious people.
We looked that up earlier because we were like, what's a rectory?
So, Borley Rectory, built in 1862 in Essex, quickly gained a sinister reputation. From start, the house seemed to attract strange occurrences. People claimed it was never truly empty. So, the story of the nun. The most famous or infamous legend involves a nun. She allegedly fell in love with a monk. When their affair was discovered, the monk was executed and the nun was bricked alive in the walls.
Whoa.
So I don't know if that's bricked in between a breathing space in the wall, or
into a room.
Oh, bad creepy. Either way.
That's like that was like, imagine being just shutting the walls, just buried alive, basically.
Not great.
Left to die.
Not great. Her ghost reportedly wandered the grounds in a black habit, silent and watching. So like a figure, I guess. Early hauntings. Inside, residents heard footsteps in empty corridors, doors slamming and bells ringing on their own. Objects moved mysteriously and messages appeared on walls written by unseen hands.
Ooh.
Poltergeist activity. By the 1930s, the activity intensified. Stones hurled across rooms, furniture shifted violently, and the house seemed alive with malevolent energy.
Ooh.
Investigators were often terrified, some claiming the house reacted to their presence. So eventually the house actually burnt down. Doesn't say here how it burned down, and that's something, because we will do an episode on
we're
this
going
place.
here.
I don't know if we'll go there.
We're going here.
We'll do an episode on this place. Borley Rectory burned down in 1939, but the hauntings didn't end. People reported seeing the nun drifting among the ruins, forever trapped and searching for freedom. The house became legendary as England's most haunted home. So I think a lot of reputable investigators and people that aren't paranormal believers have encountered occurrences here, and I think that's one of the reasons it's regarded as one of the most haunted, just because of the amount.
That's really creepy. Like, I'm really interested in the poor nun.
Oh, one thing it didn't say in there, that when I did a little bit of research as well, so when the place burnt down, they found a skull that was in the rubble that matched the story
of the nun,
because it was where they found it would have essentially been between a wall. So again, we'll do some more stuff in that. So
we're gonna go there definitely.
Yeah, it's the UK's most haunted place.
We may as well. It's in Essex. We'll go and figure it out. Like, we'll go and find some stuff out. I'm interested in the nun story, and also like how the monk was executed would be interesting to find out about, and also how it went down. I wonder if we could like get some records on it and do a bit of research on that. Yeah, that'd be fun. We'll go there. Creepy. Sure. Creepy.
Your last story?
Yeah, so my last story is another Ouija board one. So let's go on to that. So This one is anonymous, so that's fine. So, back in the 1980s, I lived with roommates who went Ouija crazy. I had to leave when shit got weird. I had 3 roommates who started using the board. At first it didn't work, but they kept at it until they got a good response. Then they almost got addicted to it. They wanted to use it all the time. The whole thing ended on a Friday night. I worked until 11 p.m. and got home late. The planchette was flying around the board, and everyone was excitedly talking about a little girl on the board who had died in the 1920s. Whatever, I wasn't a believer, so I went to my room and flipped on the TV. I could hear them chattering, and suddenly a different spirit took over the board. I came out to see. The spirit kept going to the letters C and Z. They called him Chaz. One of them started taunting the spirit named Chaz, saying if he was such a big bad spirit, how come he couldn't do anything off the board? Which I just think is mental. Why would you taunt a spirit? Just asking for trouble.
Not a great idea, is it?
So after that, the room grew quiet, but nothing happened. But the energy completely shifted. And then 2 things happened in quick succession. The Christmas lights that were hung around the ceiling started blinking. This was the 80s. We didn't have fairy lights with remotes. These were white lights on a dark green wire that blinked if you removed the first light on the string. Other than that, they were steady white. No one had ever changed them to blinking, and they had been hung around the room near the ceiling since September. They never blinked. They started blinking. This shocked the shit out of me, and then this huge ashtray that someone had stolen from a hotel burst into 3 pieces, and the glass went flying around the room. Everyone flipped out, me too. Lights were turned on, candles were put out, etc., etc. Shortly after this, a week or 2, my roommate stayed away with her best friend for the weekend. I got off work at 11 p.m, but I was anxious in our shared room. I felt like I was being watched, so I flipped on the TV for company. I turned the volume right down before I fell asleep, but left the TV on. The volume turned itself all the way up at 3 a.m, and I'm all alone in this creepy dorm room. I moved out of the room that night and stayed with friends until the end of the semester, which is exactly what I would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's creepy, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's creepy. Like, Ouija boards scare me anyway, but to have things like almost poltergeist activity then happening through that. And I know, like, I sleep with the TV on as well, and I have it down low because I like the light. But yeah, I think being woken up at 3 a.m. with the volume on max would absolutely scare the crap out of me. Like, what explanation if you're not like rolling onto the controller?
Faulty remote.
No, yeah, faulty remote. I don't like it.
Isn't
It's weird. Like 3 a.m. is.
I was going to say there's something to do with
3 a.m. is the witching hour, so a lot of paranormal experiences are like happen between 3 and 4 a.m. They always say if you wake up between 3 and 4 a.m, like it's probably a spirit because
3 is like
it's the witching hour.
On like a religious and like demonic level, it's insult to the Holy Trinity as well. I think like 3 knocks.
Yeah,
it's meant to be insult to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yes, so. Yeah. And I think it's also like when the veil is at its thinnest as well.
What's the veil?
Like in the spirit realm, they say that there's like a veil that divides us, and it becomes thinner.
Like a portal.
Yeah, it becomes thinner wherever there's certain way lines, and wherever there's like at Halloween, it becomes thinner. It's that time of the year. It's all to do with like solstice and stuff. We'll get into that in the future. But I know as well between 3 and 4 a.m. it definitely is like at its thinnest as well.
Yeah, basically just don't mess with
that
Ouija boards.
Don't mess with Ouija boards.
Yeah.
It's really, I feel like it's a really silly idea. Like there's even people that don't believe. So many people say I wouldn't do a Ouija board.
There's a lot of things.
Well, if you don't believe them, why wouldn't you do a Ouija board? Like you clearly believe like 10%.
A lot of things that can go wrong. Yeah,
like portals can be opened, demonic things can be attached,
and they can attach to you for life.
Yeah, like it's scary. Like I've done. Obviously, this is a subject I'm really interested in. So I research. I look into things. I listen to my own podcasts. I watch documentaries, and I remember hearing a story. There's a haunted house in America that you can stay at. It's not. I don't think it's a Lizzie Borden house. It's another one. I feel like it begins with a H. I think it might be like the Hinsdale house. I'll double check. But they used to have Ouija boards like laid out, and when you went and stayed, like you could use them if you wanted to. But I know that they ended up taking them all out of the house and not allowing it because like portals were being opened. someone actually stole they had like a really old, like really nice antique Ouija board. Like I think it might have been like 100 years old. This is probably a story we'll cover on an episode, so I'll go into more detail then. But someone stole it basically, and it was like 3 days later it was returned to them, and they found it on the steps like leading to the house, and all that was there was a note saying "make it stop." So obviously, like, that's what you get for
stealing a Ouija board,
but also stealing a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Like, clearly some crap happened that they were like, just give it back. But yeah, that's don't do Ouija boards. I would never do it
under any circumstance. But if you do, send your stories.
If you do, send your stories.
Send a
or if you
video.
have,
we
don't recommend doing it anymore, but if you have done it, send us your stories. But I'm going to read you like just the links and stuff. I'll link everything below, like where to send things. You at the minute, like, you can send them to our, like, direct message them to us on social media. That's fine, but we would prefer it if you can to send it to our email, which is thingsthatgobumpinthenightpod@gmail.com. Include as much detail as you can. Tell your friends and family to do the same. Again, I'll link it all below, but you can also find us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We've got a Facebook business page, but we'll hopefully down the line open like a community group. It'd be quite nice to have like a community, like, supportive one.
Put your stories in there, kind of
thing. Just it'll be a private page, so if you want to post there, it will be private to your main Facebook page, so no one else can see what you're posting. But yeah, like, we're gonna see what you guys suggest. We'll listen to what you like, what you don't like, what you want more of. As I said, we're not professionals. We're very much just starting this, but we'll grow, and hopefully you'll, like, help us along the way grow.
We're growers, not showers.
Yeah. Great joke.
Thanks.
But yeah, thank you for listening to us, and we'll see you next week. We'll be doing... We won't tell them what... We've picked a subject for next week, but we're not going to tell you yet.
Yeah.
You can find it next week. But yeah, it's exciting. Thanks for listening to us.
Thanks, guys.
And if it goes bump in the night...
We're talking about losers.
Cringe.
Right. See ya.